Welcome to Mental Models Daily, where we explore one mental model each day to help you elevate your daily decision-making. Today, we're examining a strategic concept with roots in military history, the War of Attrition. The War of Attrition mental model refers to a conflict or competition where the goal is to gradually weaken or exhaust the opponent's resources rather than achieve a decisive, immediate victory. It's a long-game approach that emphasizes persistence, endurance, and the slow, methodical wearing down of the adversary's capabilities. Let's look at a historical example of the War of Attrition in action. During World War I, the Battle of Verdun was a brutal, drawn-out campaign on the Western Front between the German and French armies. Rather than seeking a quick, decisive battle, the German strategy was to bleed the French forces dry through relentless assaults and bombardments. Although the Germans initially gained ground, the sheer scale of casualties on both sides made it a Pyrrhic victory at best. The French outlasted their opponents, eventually forcing the Germans to abandon their offensive. The War of Attrition was a defining feature of the trench warfare that characterized much of World War I. Neither side could achieve a breakthrough, so the conflict devolved into a grueling battle of wills and resources, a stark example of this mental model in practice. In the business world, the War of Attrition can also play out in various forms. Consider the case of a startup disrupting an entrenched industry. The established players may not be able to match the startup's innovation or agility, but they can use their deeper pockets and economies of scale to wage a protracted battle for market share. By slowly chipping away at the startup's resources through price wars, legal challenges, or simply outlasting their cash reserves, the incumbents may eventually force the upstart to surrender or become a niche player. Alternatively, a company might find itself in a war of attrition with a persistent competitor where the goal is to outlast the other party through superior operational efficiency, customer loyalty, or sheer tenacity. The objective is not necessarily to deliver a knockout blow, but to steadily erode the opponent's ability to compete. So, how can we apply the War of Attrition mental model in our daily lives? Firstly, recognize when you're facing a situation that calls for a long-term, endurance-based approach rather than a quick victory. Be honest with yourself about the resources, stamina, and commitment required to engage in a war of attrition. Secondly, develop strategies to maximize your staying power. This might involve carefully conserving your resources, finding ways to replenish them, or identifying vulnerabilities in your opponent's position that you can gradually exploit. Finally, maintain your focus and discipline throughout the process. A war of attrition can be mentally and emotionally draining, so it's important to pace yourself, celebrate small wins, and avoid getting distracted or discouraged by short-term setbacks. In conclusion, the War of Attrition mental model serves as a powerful reminder that not all battles can or should be won through a single decisive strike. Sometimes, the path to victory lies in the slow, methodical erosion of our opponent's resources and resolve. By understanding and applying this concept, we can navigate complex, long-term challenges with greater clarity and resilience. Thank you for joining me today on Mental Models Daily. Until next time, may your resources be plentiful, your stamina be unbreakable, and your opponents be worn down by your relentless pursuit of victory. For more mental models, please visit mentalmodelsdaily.com or find us on X or Instagram. Our podcast music was provided by thepodcasthost.com and Alitu, the podcast maker. Find your own free podcast music over at thepodcasthost.com/free music.